years ago, this property was fully refurbished. New heating system, new kitchen, new bathroom, insulated walls, a dehumidifier system installed, and as you can see from this video, everything was freshly painted, clean and presented in excellent decorative order. Today, I'm going to be highlighting why you should absolutely get both a check-in and a check-out report, because if you want to get ahead in property, you need to work hard to ensure you're not losing money at every single checkout. For a one-bedroom property, you might be looking at around £130 for a full inventory report. But let me reframe that. An inventory is not an expense, it's a protection. It's effectively an insurance policy that ensures your property is returned in the same or similar condition to how it was let. Anything that differs can be identified at a checkout, giving you the evidence required to claim against the tenant's deposit if necessary. Fast forward 3 years, the tenant served notice she was moving to a larger property. This is the walkthrough of the property upon checkout. Now, throughout the tenancy, I conducted regular inspections, and overall I was really happy with how the property had been maintained and looked after. And this video isn't about a bad tenant, it's simply about ensuring that proper check-in and check-out reports are carried out, a step that is often overlooked in an attempt to save money. Without them, landlords can find themselves absorbing costs that should rightfully be recoverable from the tenant. This is about process. Now, in this property, the carpets have been replaced, the property has been professionally cleaned, there is a receipt provided, but I will be the first one to admit that upon walking around this property, I was initially very, very disappointed. But after reviewing it properly, and probably after about 5 minutes, I broke it down logically. What actually needed doing? A clean, a single coat of paint throughout, some minor cosmetic attention, and that's it. And once complete, this property will be back to near new condition. Before she vacated, I attended the property to carry out a pre-checkout inspection. We had an open discussion about what needed addressing, and the main issues were the carpets. They were brand new at check-in and they had been damaged by pets. They were torn, stained and beyond fair wear and tear, and we agreed that these would be replaced before the tenancy ended. I followed up my visit and our discussion with a formal email, which is date and time stamped, outlining what our agreement was, the requirement for replacement carpets, the need for a professional deep clean, and more importantly, I attached a copy of the original check-in report for absolute clarity and no questions about how the condition of the property was when the tenant took possession, and as such, the expectations of how it should be returned. Because the carpets were replaced before checkout, I knew that this was something that I wouldn't need to recover from the cost of the deposit. So that preserves the deposit for any additional cosmetic work. Now, a check-in report and a check-out report are approximately £130 each, so £260 in total. Now, some landlords see this as an expense, but without these reports, I would have no evidence, no leverage, no protection. Now, with the check-in and check-out reports, as you can see, I can clearly evidence the condition at the move-in and the condition at the move-out. So if this went to adjudication, the decision would be based purely on documented evidence, and the evidence is very clear. The likelihood is that the deposit that is held will cover the redecoration and minor repairs. In fact, the tenant will probably likely still receive some money back. And restoring the property to a rentable condition, the most important thing is that this is likely to cost me no money because I invested in having a check-in and check-out report. And this is why inventories are simply not optional. They're essential. And this is why property management is far more than just collecting rent. It's about regular inspections, clear documentation, difficult conversations handled professionally. It's protecting your asset and, more importantly, protecting your return. As a landlord myself, this is the exact strategy I use within my portfolio. A small investment at the start of a tenancy can save you significant money at the end, and that's how you protect your property and maximise your returns. So my final thought for the day is make sure that you're conducting your check-in and check-out reports. They are invaluable and they will save you money in the long term. So my final thought for the day is make sure that you're conducting your check-in and check-out reports. They are invaluable and they will save you money in the long term.